So I want to give you a really good on how you can help your team work smarter and not harder. So as CEOs, people that have teams, right? A lot of times we have team members that we give work to. When we give work to them, we give them more work. And what ends up happening is they'll come back and say, I'm overwhelmed. I have too much work on my plate. I'm stressed out. And you as a caring CEO wants to help them. You want to figure out how can I help them to not be overwhelmed? How can I help them to not be stressed? Going home feeling bombarded with work and they're going home and they're feeling all over the place. But at the same time, I need my team to come in and make work happen. I need them to be efficient with their work. So a lot of times whenever we hire people, we don't give them the tools on how to be efficient. And I'm about to give you guys a really good gem on how to help your team become more efficient so that they can do more work for you and also not feel overwhelmed. So when this happened with people on my team, one of the first things I did, and I read a book, Buy Back Your Time, and it talked about how you should do a time audit. So what I did is I told my team, I need you guys to go for the next 2 weeks, track your time every single day, every single 15 minutes. I need you to write down on a piece of paper or on a spreadsheet what you are working on. And I know when I told them that, they were probably thinking in their heads, oh, he's trying to micromanage me. He's trying to figure out, am I even working at all? But what I explained to them was that wasn't the point. The point was to see what areas that you were working on were taking too long so we can figure out ways to help you be more efficient. And when they did the time tracking audit, they discovered that not only did they have a lot more time in their schedule, but things that they were working on that were taking them much longer than should have been. And so when we found those things that were taking them really long to do, we started to figure out, okay, how can we make this thing that took you 2 hours? How can we do this in 1 hour? How can we do this in 30 minutes? It ended up being a really good brainstorming session. And we were able to figure out, okay, these are the things you need to do to make sure you're not spending too much time on this. An example would be, let's say there was one team member that on onboarding, they were sending out emails, but they were copying and pasting emails that they had in a template. So every time a new person would sign on as a client, they would have to copy and paste that email in Gmail and send it to the client. And what we figured out was that we could bring in a CRM, which would now help us to automate that. Whenever someone signs on in our system, everything is automated and things get passed into the CRM because of our automations. Instead of our team member having to email that person manually, the system did it for them. That took away hours of time in their schedule each week. So that's just one example of how doing a time audit can help you find out what are the areas of your employees' work that's taking them too much time and that's stressing them out. Another thing we found out was that a lot of times our team members weren't really trying to think through the work and figure out what is the best way for me to do this, that the work can end up being done quicker. It was more so, okay, the work that I'm doing is busy work. Let me go ahead and knock this out. But it wasn't a mindset of how can I crank this out faster? How can I be more efficient? They always say, hire a lazy person to work in your company because a lazy person will always figure out the fastest way and the more efficient way to get things done. And that couldn't be more true, right? If you're someone that doesn't like doing work the long way, you'll figure out ways to be more efficient and operate at a much higher level. Another thing we found out when we did the time audit was that there were a lot of things on people's plates that could literally be passed off to someone else, that could literally be passed off to an administrative assistant, that could literally be passed off to AI, right? Like, for example, if you are a finance person in our company, there's reports that you have to email clients each week. There's emails that you have to send out, right? Why not have an administrative assistant support you in sending that out so that you can spend more time on developing the plans for your clients? You can develop tax strategies, budget plans, forecasting plans, and things that are going to provide way more value for the client and help them push the needle forward in their business from a finance perspective and make more money. Because if you work in the finance department, your goal is to help clients increase their profits. Your goal is to help clients build their cash reserves. And your goal is to help clients through this tough time that we're experiencing in the economy. The threat of increased tariffs, we have high inflation, we have unemployment. There's a lot going on. And people are looking for a finance professional to help guide them in the right direction with their money, right? Because people want to continue growing, people want to continue flourishing, but if they don't have the right financial plan, can they do that? So when we looked at a lot of the things that were happening, we found that there were gaps in people's schedules. We found that there were things that people were doing that they could pass off to someone else. And another tip that I'll leave you with is team members should be utilizing Google Calendar, right? Or calendar in general. If you don't know what you need to be working on every single day, if you don't know where your time is going, where your energy is going, how are you supposed to be less stressed? How are you supposed to be more efficient with your work? And by putting everything on your calendar, what you'll see is, oh, there's certain things that I'm working on every single day that I literally could just batch and work one day. I'll give you an example. For me, I do the sales calls in my company, and I was having sales calls every single day. I have to do sales calls, leadership calls with my team leaders. I have to do trainings. I have to do all kinds of things. And it's best if all my energy around certain things are batched and done at the same time versus spreading it out across the week. I realized, you know what? I can do sales calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 12 and 5. And what ended up happening is I got better at sales. My conversions went up because I'm staying in the energy of sales versus doing all these different things all over the place. So I wanted to leave that gem with you because for many of you as entrepreneurs, you're not really tracking your time. You're not really understanding where your time is going. You're all over the place. You're working on so many different things because you have to. And we're not even talking about all the different businesses that people end up starting. And you're probably someone that does that or has done that. We're not even talking about all the different services or products we're selling. As you're doing all these different things, your energy is all over the place and you're feeling overwhelmed. But focusing down and dialing in on the 1 to 2 things that are going to really move the needle will help you be more efficient and less stressed in your business. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments as well. And I'm definitely going to start speaking more on topics like this because there's a lot of people that are experiencing burnout. They're experiencing situations where they are overwhelmed, and there's a better way when it comes to entrepreneurship. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk soon.